धा धिंता कर दिखती धा धिंता कर दिखती धाधा कर दिखती धाधा कर दिखती धाधिंता कर दिखती धाधा कर दिखती धाधा कर दिखती ती क त था.
Namaste and greetings to all. I am Umang from Mumbai Tarun Bharat and Policy Advocacy Research Center, and I welcome you all to Bharatasya Sangeet Vishwanubandh Yatra. It is an attempt to trace the journey of Indian classical music and instruments in interrelationship with world music cultures. Today we have with us Taufiq Qureshi ji. Taufiq Qureshi ji, an ace percussionist of India, is referred to as a game changer, is also an acclaimed composer. Taufiq ji is recognized for his path-breaking and trend-setting work as a performing artist and a composer and arranger in the field of world music. Taufiq ji has been ably successful at taking the nuances of traditional rhythms of India to an alternate form of the world music, offering it to a larger audience, comprising of all age groups and from different parts of the world. Being the son of legendary tabla maestro Ustad Taufiq ji's performances showcase the traditional flavor and intricacies of Indian rhythm interwoven with the sparkle of his phenomenal command over contemporary world percussions. You welcome Taufiq ji.
Thank you. It's really nice to be here, Umang, and thank you for having me over. I'm really very honored and pleased to be here.
So the relevance of this interview with project of Bharatasya Sangeet Vishwanubandh Yatra is we have an Indian artist playing Indian rhythm on a foreign instrument. So to begin with, let me ask you, how did you first begin incorporating Indian classical rhythm into your performance on African instruments?
Well, first and foremost, let me tell you that the instrument which I use to translate the tabla knowledge is this instrument which is called the djembe. It's from Africa, west of Africa. And the way it is actually pronounced, it is djembe. And the D is spelled D-J-E-M-B-E, although the D is silent, like how it is in French. So, see, first I'll just take you back a little bit, from a very early age, maybe when I was 6-7 years old, I was always attracted to different sounds other than the tabla. वो तो था ही घर में, that was in the house, and I was listening to Abbaji, Zakir Bhai practice, my father teaching, and so many students playing. So that sound was always attractive. As a kid also, I would crawl to the instrument and start playing them, which is there in all music families. But I was always attracted to anything, like we used to stay in this area called Mahim, and Makdum Shah, Baba, the Dargah was like 10 feet away from us. And every Friday in the afternoon, the prayers before the azan would happen, this one guy would play this nagara, and the rhythm would go dum, da dum, 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 da dum, dum, dum. So announcing that it's prayer time. And whenever that sound would come, even if I was eating my food, I would just leave everything run. It was like 10 feet away, and I would go and stand like a small kid watching this man playing that big drum. The sound was amazing for me. And as a 7-year-old, I listened to this album of my father with this great drummer. His name was Buddy Rich. And they did an album together called Rich Ala Rakha. And for me, the tabla was there, but I was more attracted to the other sound. What is this sound? The way it is being played. What is this sound? So like I said, I was always attracted to this other sound, So as I grew up, whenever like R.D. Burman's song would come, Duniya mein logo ko, I would go mad. What is this sound? Whole day as a kid I would go and my mother would say, what's wrong with this guy, So I was attracted to some other elements, So as I grew up, I started understanding that I love this instrument, the tabla, but I want to do other things also.
Right.
So as I came into 9th standard, 10th standard, I came into college, St. Xavier's College, where It's one of the best colleges we have. And there I met many friends who were playing different kind of instruments. So my eyes opened up to various other kind of music, And I started understanding rock music, pop music, jazz music, and all that. And fusion was creeping in at that time, fusion music. So I started exploring playing other instruments. So for me, in my mind, when I was in college, it was like, the tabla is there, but I want all this knowledge of my father to bring out on some other modem.
I see.
And I was always in search for some instrument, So the drum, if you see the drum set, there are like 7 or 8 instruments together. So where to play dha, where to play dhin, where to play dhati rikita, it was
scattered.
Yeah, the congas, I tried it on the congas. 2 pieces, yes, but no resonance. It's a dead sound. Then I said bongo, too small to play, and you have to hold it in the... That way I kept on exploring darbuka, dumbek, and Zakir Bhai, who always knew that I was always interested in playing other percussion instruments, because even in college I was playing orchestra shows. I started doing small recordings and all that. So he would bring me some instruments, like, he gave me one dumbek. He gave me what is now a cajon box, but it was a different kind of thing in those days. He bought that. He gave me a berimbau, which is from Brazil. And so one day, I'm talking about 95 or 96, he gave me the djembe, small 10-inch djembe. And the moment I took that instrument in my hand, I don't know, I started playing it and I felt, some connection happened with that instrument. And I started feeling, this is the instrument I think I can transpose a lot of the tabla knowledge onto this instrument. And I started working on it. And then came my album Ridhun, which many people say Raidhun, which is fine. Just to let you know, RHY is short form for rhythm, and Dhun is melody. So I was looking for the name which would incorporate rhythm and melody both. So like Archimedes, I got this name in the bathroom. And I came out running in my towel, literally to my wife, and I said, I found the name that we should have for the album. She said, what? I said, Ridhun. And then came Ridhun, which kind of was like a launching pad for me. And suddenly people were hearing me play the djembe. And that's how I started. And the transposition is still happening, because the tabla is 300 years old, about 300, maybe 350 years old. So there's so much of the repertoire that has to be transposed. So all that translation is still happening, but that's why I chose djembe. Djembe.
Djembe, yes. Moving on to the next question, where I would like to understand that how has your study of Indian music or Indian classical music training, because Ustad Alaraka Khan Sahab is known to be a musician who was brought in Indian classical, who has established tabla
as a solo instrument. So he worked a lot towards making it an instrument which was recognized as a solo instrument. In fact, he used to work at the radio station, and there is it's a legend, or whatever you want to say. When he started working, there was this person who actually employed him and brought him from Delhi to Mumbai. His name was Mr. Bukhari. He was the station master there at the radio. So my father said, तबला सोलो भी रखते हैं. He said, नहीं सोलो तो सब सितार वितार गाने का. बोले नहीं, देखिए मैं आपको बताता हूँ, आप 30 दिन every day I will play a different tal. So every day for 20 minutes his tabla solo was broadcasted, and he played different tals every day. So he played 30 tals to show that this can be an of course other his senior ustads and pandits were already playing solos, but he wanted to bring it out in a very different way. He is the man who brought what you would call as laykari. You're learning harmonium, so you will know कि laykari का मतलब क्या होता है कि calculative work. which was done predominantly in the south of India.
Okay.
So he started bringing in that Laikari stuff, the calculation where a gap of half a beat or a quarter beat or ढाई मात्रे का gap or डेढ़ मात्रे का gap would be given in a tihai. And he started bringing in the element of Khand Jati and Mishra Jati and Tisra Jati in a very broad way onto the tabla. Wow. So he is known for that.
All of these concepts being translated onto this djembe, how has the study of Indian music influenced your approach?
Well, Indian music is such, Umang, I feel that, our music is so evolved and so advanced. We have different rags, right, of time theory. We have different tal structures. You cannot find this in any other culture. I mean, I'm not saying that other music is not good. All music is great. But we have this whole very advanced form of playing on. Let me tell you, the tabla is one of the most versatile percussion instrument ever made. That's what I feel. There is no other instrument like that. So, my first theory is that I'm not trying to replace that instrument. That can never happen. That is something which is there. There is no other instrument which you can compare to that instrument anywhere in the world. I'm sorry, I may be biased, but that's it. What I'm trying to do is, I'm trying to bring all that knowledge onto another instrument. That knowledge is so great, it can be, it's being played there, but it is so great that it can be played on other instruments also. So what does the knowledge of Indian music does? Because it is so evolved and advanced, it makes your roots very strong. And if your roots are strong, you can go anywhere. It really makes you so good that other forms of music you can pick up. I'm not saying easily, but you are able to pick up other forms of music and incorporate them in such a way that your music becomes one with that. Because your roots are very strong, Like for example, jazz music. Jazz music is so good, and if anybody is doing jazz music, or let's say Western classical music, if their study of that particular form of music or genre of music is so strong, they will be able to understand other elements of music quicker, faster. And that's why, when Ravi Shankar ji collaborated with Yehudi Menuhin, or when Ustad Ali Akbar Khan Sahab collaborated with John Handy, who's a jazz saxophonist, or when my father collaborated with Buddy Rich, who is a jazz drummer, and my father is an Indian classical percussionist.
Louis Banks.
Oh yes, but I'm talking about those times.
Right.
So there, the best form of fusion music has come out, because each one was good in their own. But because they were good in their own field of music, they were able to understand the other music also properly. And the most important thing is, none of these musicians had an ego. They were able to say, okay, this music is good. I want to do something with this. Buddy Rich would see my father's hands and feel, my God, your hands are going like as if they have some machines in them. And Buddy Rich was a very fast drummer, especially his press rolls and all on the snare. So I'm saying, but no ego. Oh, I want to collaborate. My father also never had an ego. I want to learn this. What is this exactly? So I'm saying the most important form of fusion music, the definition of fusion music is to melt and to blend. So in order to blend, you have to melt everything, your music, your ego, your personality, and then only you will be able to blend. So that's what Indian classical music does to us. It basically makes you realize that so many ustads and pandits have done so much. What am I doing? Not even a drop in the ocean. So that it never lets you have an ego.
You've said that this process of transposing or translating is an ongoing process.
Yes.
Let me ask you, what are some of the challenges you faced in adapting Indian rhythms on African percussion?
Well, basically, music is always an ongoing process. You are learning music, so you know that it's such a vast ocean that you can never say, "Arey, mujhe sab aa gaya." No, there's so much more to be done. So yes, I mean, when I started working on it, I was saying, okay, so now what will be dha? Now dha on the tabla is played on two instruments, the baya and the chati. The gha of the baya and the na of the chati together make dha. And I tried to play two strokes. Now this is one head. So if you play two strokes, you will realize that it's getting muted. वो म्यूट हो जाता है. अगर मैं तो ये ओपन होगा या ये, सो इसमें रेजोनेंस है और ये इसमें भी रेजोनेंस है. बट अगर मैं दोनों को बजाने जाता हूँ जब साथ में, ठप हो जाता है. बिकॉज इट्स वन हेड, नो. So then I said, okay, for me dha will be only this, which I call dhe, because I hear dhe. I don't hear dha, I hear dhe. या इसको धोम भी बोल सकते हैं, धोम, और but I prefer dhe. So वो धे बन गया मेरे लिए. Then I said, ना तो है, ये तो है. We also have तुन, ये तुन जैसी लगता है. सो ऐसे अच्छा धे ना, सॉरी, सो ऐसे धे ना तुन, ये तो तीन स्ट्रोक्स मुझे मिल गए. ये मेरा धा बन गया, ये मेरा ना बन गया, ये मेरा तुन बन गया. अभी तीट वो भी मिल गया मुझे, ये भी मिल गया मुझे, क्योंकि मैं अगर यहाँ पे ऐसा करके बजाता हूँ तो आई सेड नाउ ऑल द कायदास ऑफ धातीट आई कैन प्ले. जैसे धातीट धा धातीट धागे तिन ना गिनना, है ना. तातीट तातीट धागे दिन ना गिनना. सो फॉर मी, मैं सोच रहा था धागे तिन्ना गिनना कैसे करूंगा. अभी वो ऐसा बजता है, तिन्ना गिनना. अब वो तो ये पूरा डेड साउंड हो जाएगा. आइदर आई कैन डू और दो धिन्ना गिनना, बट ऐसे ये तो ये इतना मजा नहीं आ रहा है. सो धाग तिन्ना गिनना के लिए मैंने निकाला धेना तुन तुन नाना. दिस बिकेम माय धागे तिन्ना गिनना. सो धातीट धातीट धा धातीट. धे दे नाना बिकेम धिन्ना गिन्ना फॉर मी, क्योंकि मुझे इसका बाज, आई डिडंट वांट टू चेंज द बाज ऑफ द इंस्ट्रूमेंट, बिकॉज ये धे फुल हैंड वाला प्लेइंग है. whereas the tabla is all finger. ये सब ऐसे बजता है. So ये मेरा full hand का प्लेइंग है. So I didn't want to compromise on that. I don't want to do धातीट धातीट धा धातीट धागे. मजा नहीं आएगा, क्योंकि ये तो म्यूट ही हो रहा है साउंड. तो या तो मैं, बट ये फिर क्या हो गया, दिस इज द तबला स्टाइल. आई डोंट वांट टू डू दैट. नहीं तो मैं तबला ही बजाऊंगा. तो मैंने सोचा ये सो आई प्ले फास्ट. तो ये एक कायदे का फील गिव्स अ फीलिंग ऑफ दैट कायदा. उस इट इज शोइंग यू द स्वरूप ऑफ दैट कायदा, ऑफ हाउ इट विल साउंड ऑन, लेट्स से द djembe. Somebody may try it on the darbuka, or somebody may try it on the cajon box, or somebody may even try it on the drum set. Yes.
The kaida originally will be with the syllables of tabla, but you will transpose.
So for me, that is I made my syllables. So this became the. This became na, tun, ti, ta. So ti, ta, na, tun तो वहीं से आ गए. धा की जगह हो गया धे. अभी धाग became धेना, मतलब धेतुन बन गया मेरे लिए. धाग became धेतुन, because धाग कैसे बचता है on धे. So अभी मैं वैसे कैसे I can't do, तो वो हो जाएगा. और I can do, but वो ना धे बन जाता है. So धाग became Dhetun. And Tinna Ginna became, so Dhag Tinna Ginna. Tak Dhinna Ginna. So Dhag Tinna Ginna, Tak Dhinna Ginna. So this is where I was finding difficulty first in transposing ki isko kaise karunga, how will I do this, how will I do this. But with Abbaji's blessings, I always, whenever I used to sit to do the transposition, मैं कान पकड़ के पहले ही in my mind I would tell in my mind कि because this instrument came to me in 96, but I started working on it, and certain parts I showed him also because he was alive till 2000, and he was also kind of happy about it. कि I'm trying to do the same knowledge, I'm trying to bring it out on another surface, you know. But he passed away in 2000. So with the djembe, I had very less time with him. I wish I had more time with him. So in my mind, after that, whenever I would be transposing, I would कान पकड़ के कि आप मेरी मदद कीजिए. And whenever I have had any difficulties, somehow I found a way, I guess because of his blessings.
You've already partially answered my next question, but I will. I'm always hungry for music.
Okay.
Still going to ask you if you could give us an example of a traditional Indian rhythm that you successfully adapted onto.
Well, let's say अभी हम बजाते हैं a very traditional rhythm, ना तीन ताल. ना धिन दिन ना धिन दिन ना तिन तिन ना तिट धिन दिन ना धिन दिन ना धिन. अभी देखिए इस पे I will play the same thing. You might not get. I'm saying my idea is that you should feel it is na din din na din din na. So in my language it became na the na na tun tun na tit the na. So then I said नादिन दिन ना बोलते हैं, बट दे आर प्लेइंग धा दिन दिन दा. वो ना की जगह धा बजता है, बोलते हैं ना धा दिन दिन ना दिन, तो वो धा ही बजता है वो. देन आई सेड लेट्स ट्राई. सो देन आई स्टार्टेड प्लेइंग धेक्र धे ना धे ना तुन तुन ना तिट धिन धे ना. This is तीन ताल. So I'm doing dhe, kla dhe. Abhi now kla on the tabla is played like tha te kla. Kla is played like this. I'm doing like this. Full hand playing. So dhe, kla dhe. I'm doing like this. I'm not doing that. I'm doing dhe, kla dhe na. At least in this theka. So de ka de na de na and khali bhi dikh rahi hai na tun tun na khali bhi dikh raha hai because it is very important in our music to have the bhari and the khali. So I am maintaining the bhari and khali. उसमें मैं tone wise भी differentiate कर रहा हूँ. de ka de na tun tun na tikra de na tikra de. वो मैंने सोचा मेरे हिसाब से मैं उसको कर देता हूँ बिकॉज वो कड़ा आता है तो अच्छा लगता है. अभी ये कड़ा इज द ट्रेडिशनल वे ऑफ प्लेइंग इट. सो दे ना तुन तुन ना दे. सो दिस इज whoever I accompany, whether it is sitar or sarod or santoor or flute, they are comfortable with this. They know that it is the तीन ताल. अभी इसमें मुझे फास्ट झाले का तीन ताल जाना है. ना दिन दिन ना दिन दिन ना दिन दिन ना. सो दिन 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 ना दिन दिन ना. वो लोग कैसे बजाते हैं? दिन 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 ना 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 दिन दिन ना. बाया का बड़ा काम चलता है. बाया होने की वजह से इन their thekas there is lot of dynamics happening and beautification. What the baya does. Now we don't have baya और हम वो घिसी विसी गमक नहीं कर सकते. So dynamically I can, volume wise I can show it, है ना. दे ना दिन दिन ना fast. Maintaining the bhari and the khali. So this is what I started. This is a very famous theka of the तीन ताल. तो उसका द्रुत तीन ताल भी मैंने वर्कआउट किया कि उसका एक अलग तरीके से it should be differently expressed, and the jhalat the तीन ताल, the faster the तीन ताल also I'm kind of expressing it differently. Now the very fast so उसके लिए मैंने I took my own way of doing it. थक देना झाले में जाते हैं, या तो फिर ये भी एक तरीका है, या तो फिर अब लग्गी बजती है जैसे अब इसमें एक थाप डाल दूंगा तो वो ढोलक जैसा लगेगा. So incorporating various elements of the tabla, the dholak, the ghatam. I have a style of ghatam also which has been worked very well for me because ghatam my Guruji Pandit Bhikkhu Vinayaka Ramji, from whom so I saw him doing this on the ghatam. So I said this is a very good technique for relas, जो मुझे धिनगिन का रेला बजाना है. तो ये टेक्निक मैंने उनसे देखा और मैंने बोला ये मैं so I asked him, so he said ना देख. So this technique I learned from him and I incorporated it here, so I can do all the dhadagin dhinigin rela. जो धड़कड़ धड़कड़ धिनगिन धड़कड़ 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 धिनगिन धड़कड़ धड़कड़ धिनगिन धड़कड़ 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 धिनगिन. हाँ धड़कड़ 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 धिनगिन धड़कड़ 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 धिनगिन धड़कड़ धड़कड़ धिनगिन धड़कड़ धड़कड़ धिनगिन. So anyway, so taking ideas from ghatam, from dholak, from conga slap, this, I do this, this is the conga thing. This is a djembe. So the actual djembe has 3 syllables. One is called the bass, tone, slap. So every rhythm, all they're playing is in these 3 syllables, you know. And actual djembe playing of Africa is mind-blowing. I mean, if you hear some of the masters like Mama Dikita and so many others, when they play djembe, it is just out of this world.
Did the calculations, now all the compositions in Tal are, 8 beats per cycle, 16 beats per cycle, 14 beats per cycle,
Yeah,
or
10,
so on.
whatever,
10.
yeah.
So, वो mathematics कैसे?
No, nothing. Once you figured out how to play the bowls, then how to mathematically fit it into different tals, that too we've been doing since we were kids, यार. उसको रूपक में कैसे लाना है वो तो पिताजी ने बचपन से हमको सिखाया है. He's taught us from the since we were kids, and then watching him and Zakir Bhai and other maestros play, how they are improvising in Rupak Tal while they are accompanying, and how they are improvising in Dhamar, which is also an ang of 7, of course it is 14, when they are doing a solo. So seeing all that is always in the system. It's already in the system.
Right.
How to transpose it onto this thing was not a problem.
That was
The transposition was how certain syllables, certain bowls can be transposed onto them. Once the transposition happened, like for example, dhatirikit takatirikit tatirikit takatirikit. Now dhatirikit takatirikit is played like this in So, right? So now this is full hand playing because there are two instruments. I said, ये मैं कर नहीं सकता हूँ. I can't do. Then I might as well play that instrument only. तबला ही बजाऊँ मैं. I said, क्या करूँ मैं? So it should be dha tira. So it is basically dha tira kita taka tira kita. So it's 6. So I said, let's try what I can do. So I came out with dhe kita kita kete kita kita. 6 ही है वो. धे केते केटा केते केटा केटा ना केते केटा केते केटा केटा. So now again this technique of the ghatam is coming useful here. So dhe kete keta kete keta keta na kete keta kete keta keta dha tira kita taka tira kita tha tira kita taka tira dha tira kita taka tira kita dha tira kita taka tira kita dha tira kita taka tira kita dha tira kita. So ये वही हो गया ना. धातरी करता 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 धातरी करता 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 धातरी करता नातरी करता. So धातरी करता became धातरी करता नातरी करता धातरी करता नातरी करता धातरी करता धातरी करता. So ये ऐसे ऐसे करके मैं उसको I started transposing it, you know. Okay, धातरी will be played like that. Kakatiri will be played like that. धातरी takatiri will be played like that. Dhiningin के लिए ये है. तिटक के लिए ये ऐसा बजेगा. So doing and working on it for quite a few years since 96, I actually started playing the djembe in a big way post 2000 because till then I was working on how to transpose it, do this, do that, वो सब चल रहा था. In those days I was also playing my standing kit. So I was playing that a lot with various musicians, you know. And then when Ridhun came into 2000, it really kind of propelled me and I started getting a lot of concerts and corporate shows. And I started my one group called Taufiq and Friends, where there was Niladri Kumar with me and Sridhar Parthasarthi and Carl Peters. We four of us formed this band. And we would do many shows, and I started collaborating with Luigi also, and with many other musicians, Rakesh Chaurasia, Purben Chatterjee, Ravichari ji, and Ranjit Barot, and of course with Zakir Bhai I was playing. So I was busy with that standing kit and all that. So, but still my whole everything was like, okay, I must take this up. I must take this up. I want to get this instrument out in front of people. But I was not sure कि ये. I mean, I knew that I still had to work a lot. So post 2000 also I worked a lot on it till 2005. And since 2006 and 7, I started coming out a little bit of playing more on the djembe things and all that, and you know.
Getting the audience accustomed to what you're starting to play.
Correct. Yeah.
You mentioned about Bhari and Khali while playing right now. So silence plays an important role in percussion.
Yes,
the
of
gap
course.
between two beats.
Yes.
So what is the importance of silence according to you, and how do we go about it?
See, silence is something which I will tell you. That's what I earlier said. No, when my father went into this Laikari stuff, so giving a gap of 1.5 beats, giving a gap of 2.5 beats, that little silence worked wonders. Like for example, let's say if there is a bowl, if there is a phrase, okay, 3. So it's ending here. From here there is a gap of 2.5, okay, and then repeat it 2.5 and repeat, and it will come on the sum. So now that 2.5 is silence. See how that silence works? When you're playing it fast. So that silence, no, you know who explored this silence in a very big way in Bollywood films? That was Panchamda. He would suddenly everything one silence, then he would come with that. You know, you heard that song. Lekar hum dewana dil, violin ka pura and that silence is like so brilliant, you know. So silence has a lot of energy, I feel. It has a lot of importance in music. If you know where to give that silence, that's the most important thing.
True. Can you walk us through your creative process when composing or arranging music that combines Indian classical music and African instrument?
Well, that I've already explained of how dha and thin and ye sab aaya, mere ko bas aaya. So the journey is still on. Like I said, I'm still transposing because there are so many different gharanas. Punjab gharana is one gharana where I have learned, but there's Banaras, there's Delhi, Farrukhabad, Jarala, Lucknow. So all those compositions also have to be transposed onto this, and I'm working on it. And like my most important thing, Umang, is that whatever bowl I'm trying to translate onto this instrument, it should sound similar to what is being played on the tabla. वो ऐसा ही कुछ भी होना नहीं चाहिए. Like for example, let's say there is a Ajrala style, Farrukhabad style, there's this thing, dhik dhinna, tirikad dhinna, dhagena, dhinna, dhinna, ga, tak tak tak, dhinna, dhinna, ge, dhagena, dhinna, dhinna, ga, tek dhinna, tirikad dhinna, takena, dhinna, dhinna, tak tak tak, dhinna, dhinna, ge, dhagena, dhinna, dhinna. एक चलन है. So I was working on it and I said it should sound like that. मैं कुछ भी ऐसा ही कुछ नहीं करना है. मुझे उसके I need to come close to that playing. So if people who know this chalan, take dhinna, tirikad dhinna, dhagena, dhinna, dhinna, agar tak tak tak, dhinna, dhinna, ge, dhagena, dhinna, dhinna, take dhinna, tirikad dhinna, takena, dhinna, dhinna, agar tak tak tak, dhinna, dhinna, ge, dhagena, dhinna, dhinna. So I'm trying to come as close as possible to that playing style. It should not become I'm using any syllables to create. See, as long as I'm matching that chalan, I can do anything, no? Like chalan वही है.
But flat है.
Flat है and it's like what is happening here? वो सब कुछ ऐसा ही लग रहा है. So देगा देना तेरे कर देना. धागे ना दिन आग. तक दिन आग. धागे ना दिन आगे. तो वो ऐसे निकलना चाहिए. अभी ये मैंने ऐसा वर्कआउट किया कि ये जब ये उठा हुआ होता है ना, सो इट साउंड्स मच बेटर बिकॉज आई यूजुअली पुट इट ऑन अ स्टैंड. सो एक ओपन आता है, एक डेड आता है. धीग दिन आगे. So try to come as close as possible to that particular playing style. So that is where I'm still working and the journey is still on.
Lovely. That also answers my next question actually, which I would want to ask again. How do you approach improvisations while translating?
You see, that has been inculcated into us since we were children. My father, whenever Abbaji would give us some variation of a qaida of a rela, he would give us maybe 3 or 4 variations. And then we would say, Abba ji, और क्या है? अभी खुद बनाओ. Make your own variations. Why do you want me? You know the technique now. You know the whatever is the क्या बोलते हैं ना उसको, the formula of making variations. Make your own variations. My father, whenever he would play any composition, he would not play more than 4 or 5 variations. For him, the qaida was over then. After that, it is like you are just taking those elements only and extending it. Whatever has to be expressed in that rela or a qaida has already been done in 4 or 5 variations. His thought process was like that. Of course, he could make countless number of variations, So he would encourage us to make our own variations. So we would think of how to make. Then whenever we were practicing with him, doing riyaz, or he was teaching us, he would play something and give it to us. So we would take it. So as, young students, we would try to imitate him. Whatever he's played, we would try to do that. Then he would say, are you trying to show me how this is to be played? Don't follow me. Don't be like a parrot. Do your own thing. I've played this. You take this idea and try to create something. And I'll help you. If you're not able to do something, I'll help you. But try to take that risk. Try to jump into something different. Don't have to be in the safe zone. Abba ji ne ye bajaya, main bhi ye bajata hu. Nahin. Try to be something different. No. तो इसलिए वो कभी भी हमको सेफ जोन में रहने नहीं देते थे. He would never allow us to be in the safe zone. Just jump. You'll fall flat on your face. It's okay. You'll get up and you'll try again. Get up and try again. So it doesn't matter. So that's what inculcated in us an element of improvisations, because we are creating it right then and there. We are not trying to imitate. We are trying to create something. So even now, like for example, when I'm with Zakir Bhai on stage, for me it's a master class. I'm not performing with him. I'm learning under him on stage. It's a master class. Because he's so busy, we don't get time to learn from him. So whenever we are on stage with him, we are learning. So it's a master class. So when he's throwing something at me, I will do my best not to imitate what he's doing. Because whatever he can do, nobody can do. So I have to do something which I can do. So keeping the same thought process, same idea, same divisions, I'll try to do something different, Because from my childhood, I've seen Zakir Bhai and Abbaji do that, and we've been encouraged to not repeat like a parrot, but try to be creative. So that's where the improvisations come from.
Lovely. And how does the audience respond to your unique style of playing?
I guess everywhere, wherever I've performed, I have always got love and blessings. I'm very lucky for that, because this is a foreign instrument. When I started playing it, I was not sure what, that usually it's also a loud instrument. So how to make it soft, how to make it beautiful, how to make it interesting for people to hear. Like for example, what you just heard me playing, so I'm following those dynamics of that bowl. So that's what I've always tried to do whenever I've played my solos, where my peshkars are concerned, my qaida, chalans, relas, chakkardars, tukras. I've always tried to be different. How my father would play a solo, how Zakir Bhai would play a solo, I have tried to, I try my best to be different. I don't know if I succeed, because there's so much of their influence, it's bound to come out. It's little bound, because one, that whatever Abbaji has played and whatever Zakir Bhai is playing, it is so inspirational. Automatically you try to you try to get into that. But I have always tried to be different. So that's why when I play certain relas, I'm very much influenced by folk rhythms, especially of Maharashtra. So I have this rela which is like based on lechim rhythm. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I am I'm influenced by that. There's one way where I show that two tasha players are playing. One is playing one rhythm, the other one is playing another rhythm. So one is going. दूसरा आता है. साथ में लेजिम ढोल. So I'm saying I incorporate all these things, all these elements. गरबा का रिदम में मैंने रेला किया है. गरबा का रिदम लेके आई एम डूइंग अ रेला, लेजिम का लेके आई एम डूइंग अ धिनिगिन का रेला. सो आई एम very much, so when I'm performing in front of an audience, I'm bringing in all these elements of folk rhythms and of course what I've learned from my father. The laykari ka kaam, I try to do a lot of laykari work, which I've seen my father do and which I'm seeing Zakir bhai do. And so that's why whenever I have come, first and foremost, people are very in India, I'm saying from the very beginning, people here are very open-minded. And they have accepted violin as an instrument over here, mandolin as an instrument, saxophone as an instrument, harmonium is from the accordion. So I'm saying they are very open कि okay, what is he going to play? ये तो वही बजा रहा है, हाँ ये रेला बजा रहा है, अरे ये कायदा बजा रहा है, अच्छा लग रहा है. I still remember one concert of mine I did in Pune, and I played no matra, mat tal. And after I finished, I came down from the stage, I was going towards the green room, and Suresh Dada, the great, he came fast behind me, and he came and he, Taufiq, I turned, I like did a sashtang namaskar. He said, uto, and he gave me a hug. So, मिठी मारून मला सांगितलं. He said, अरे तू काय छान वाजवलं रे, काय पेशकारच्या तुझा अंग केवढा चांगला होता, तुझा कायदा आणि तू भरी खाली सगळं मेंटेन करत होता. This is very new for me, and he was so much full of praise and love, and he blessed me, and he was so happy. He said, मला काहीतरी द्यायचं आहे, I want to give you something, पण माझ्याकडे काय नहीं है. तो he always carries an अतर बॉटल छोटा सा. उन्होंने हाथ डाला, वो अतर का बॉटल निकाल के मेरे को दिया. ये रख. उधर अतर बॉटल is still there with me, you know. मैंने रखा है कि ये मेरे को सुरेश दादा ने दिया है, ये मेरे लिए तो priceless है. So I'm saying I've got this kind of love. Kumar Bose ji has always been so loving and encouraging to me. Swapanda, Anindoda, and all my contemporaries with whom I play, they have always been very encouraging to me. कि अरे बहुत अच्छा बजा रहे हो, ये एक अच्छी बात लग रही है. This is something new, and that has always pushed me to try and better myself.
Definitely. Essentially, I think there's a lot of there's a lot of groove in your music, or
yes, I'm maintaining
the way you play it, or so tabla is something you sit and listen to and enjoy it in a baithak. But this, if you are standing, if you are in a concert and listening to this, even if an Indian rhythm is playing on it, you feel like grooving. You feel like moving your body.
You know why? Because Umang, my father used to always say, कायदा जो होते हैं हर घराने के, अगर धाती ट या धाती धागा के कायदे होंगे ना, so they will always remind you of a groove. For example, very traditional कायदा of Delhi, जो मैंने अभी भी बजाया था, धाती ट धाती ट धा धाती ट धा गति नागिना, धाती ट धा धाती ट धा गति नागिना, है ना? What is this? This is actually bossa nova. What is bossa nova? 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 da da titte da ge tinna ginna da titte da ge dinna ginna da. Bossa nova. This is like bossa nova. Actually the movement is bossa nova. This qaida is maybe 250 years old, right? But the movement is same, no? 6/4/6, bossa nova 6/4/6. So Abbaji used to always tell us certain qaidas will always remind you of some grooves. So, and I have always been very much influenced by grooves, you know, because I've come from that form of music, being a person who's worked in Bollywood films, doing music, and also played on so many Hindi film songs. And plus I've done dandiya, I've done orchestra shows. So that groove factor has always been there with me. So whatever I play, I try to bring in some groove element in it, you know. Even if I'm playing a peshkar, मैं उसमें थोड़ा सा groove factor बहुत बार लाने की कोशिश करता हूँ. Because I feel that, you know, those grooves, let's say a bhajani groove, or a bhangra groove, or a lejim groove, somewhere it has come from here only, you know. That's why.
That's lovely. I have usually asked this question to melody instrument players, but वो एक लालसा होती है ना, वैसे हो रही है to ask you. So Indian classical music is known to emote and express a lot of expressions and emotions through music. So what is your take on that, and can this instrument do something like that for us?
Emote, yes, of course. Abhi just now, I mean, if you see, I have this thing where I do train. The train starts off and from the station and goes on the tracks. Then it will change track, so there will be another rhythm. Then another side, opposite side, another train will pass it. So there will be another rhythm. Then the train will go over the bridge. So there will be another sound. I mean, rhythm to badlega, but sound bhi badlega. So let's say the train starts. है ना, चल रहा है, तो आस्ते आस्ते फास्ट होगा. अभी वो ट्रैक बदलेगा. है ना, वो ट्रैक बदलता है तो उसका द रिदम चेंजेस. नाउ ऑपोजिट साइड another train will pass. Now the train will go over the bridge. ट्रेन चली गई. So this is the we can emote, we can show you know movement of a train. We can like for example
can we evoke certain emotions?
Well, you can see emotion need not be only something which is romantic. The emotion can be of happiness also.
True, yes. So we talk
right?
about.
So whenever हम लोग बजाते हैं, so whenever we do something like a fast rela, we see the enjoyment on the face of the people. So we are emoting.
Correct.
And supposing if I'm playing somewhere, let's say I start a rhythm in Maharashtra. If I start before my rela, I'll say lejimcha rhythm तुमच्या समोर पेश करतो. automatically people start clapping. So the emotion of happiness comes there. If I play bhangra, automatically happiness हो जाता है लोगों में. So we do. Rhythm does evoke response of happiness. I mean emotion of happiness, enjoyment. Yes. Like for example, a sitar while it is playing an alap will evoke an emotion of somewhere sadness, somewhere romanticism, somewhere devotion. You know, rhythm has the this thing of emoting. I mean, what shall I say? It will evoke an emotion of happiness, of enjoyment, of just going free. Like I've seen people when I'm doing this. जैसे मैं ये जो मैं अपना रेला बजाता हूँ, so after I finish तो when I go here, I'm going. People are. I've seen people do that. So there's a what shall I say? A feeling of wow kind of thing. A feeling of something.
A feeling of zest.
Zest. Correct. I was looking for the word zest. So that does come from the rhythm. In fact, melodically, if when sitar players are going fast, or flute players or anything, or any melodic player, so they are doing melodic thing, but they are doing a rhythmic pattern. And when they go on creating that, there is a zest happening in the audience. Kya baat hai? And then the tihai will come. So it will be like wow. So that is also rhythm in a way, you know. Although it's a melodic concept, but rhythmically they are taking it. So rhythm does evoke enjoyment, happiness, a form of zest, a form of feeling like very proud of something. Maybe yes.
That is wonderful. Moving on to my last question.
Ji.
How do you stay true to your cultural origins of both Indian classical rhythm and for the instrument of being an African percussion instrument while also creating something new and innovative?
Well, like I said earlier, I don't want to compromise on the sound of the instrument. The sound is the way it is. So djembe has full hand playing. So a lot of my playing is full hand. I will play na like this many times, tun like this, the, ke. So it's full hand playing. Of course, to create certain nuances of the tabla, I have incorporated finger movements also. Like, but ti I will play always like this with 3 fingers. Ta will be like this. I will not do. वो वहाँ के लिए अच्छा है. ये मैं करता हूँ तीट. मेरा तीट ऐसे ही आएगा. मोस्टली ती पीछे बजेगा और ट यहाँ बजेगा, है ना. तो तीट यहीं बजेगा, you know. So I am not compromising on the hand movement, the sound movement. I am trying to see that it should remain the way it is. And being a traditionalist in that sense of Indian classical music, I want to also make sure that I always maintain the bhari and the khali, no matter what I'm playing, because that is the process of our music. You know, my father used to always say, what is the bhari and the khali? It's a wave. So if dhatit, let's say ijara hai, dhadak dit dhage na dhagati nage na tit dhage na dhati dhage na tin nage na tatak tit dhage na dhagati nage na dit dhage na dhati. So it's a wave happening. It's like your heartbeat, no? If you ever see the graph of your heartbeat, it is going up and down and up and down. So bhari khali is, I think for me, bhari is going up, khali is bringing it down, then again bhari is taking up, again khali is bringing it down. This is what I feel. So I'm saying I must maintain that bhari khali, whatever I'm doing. Secondly, whatever I'm playing, I must make sure that there is a clarity of the bowl, you know, punch of course, but also the clarity of the bowl. I may not play very fast. My speed may not be as fast as, the tabla players. But I'm there. I'm trying to come there. And I'm making sure that, whatever I play should be clear. People should be able to understand what I'm playing. So the honesty of making sure that I play with clarity and making sure that whatever bowl I'm playing, I'm not compromising on any beats over there. Whatever the structure of the bowl is, that structure should be very, very, I should play it in a very clear and honest way. Should not compromise anywhere on any kind of beat or आधा मात्रा छोड़ दिया उसको निकाल दिया ऐसे नहीं. Make sure कि जो भी composition है, the way it is, it has to come like that. For example, धा धिंता कर सकती, धा धिंता कर सकती, धाधा कर सकती, धाधा कर सकती, धा धिंता कर सकती, धा कर सकती, धा कर सकती, धा ती का था. अभी ये क्लैरिटी से बजना चाहिए. So even धाधर करते 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 धाधर करते करते ना ती कत धा. So make sure that all the bowls are defined in a way that they are somewhere near to the original, and make sure that it is played with clarity and with honesty.
Wonderful. Yes. I think that helps you to stay close to your roots
Yes.
while as well being
Yes.
so innovative.
Because my father, when I told him, many years ago, Abbaji, I want to go into playing other instruments, because मुझे आपसे जो मुझे मिला है, whatever I've got from you, I want to bring it on different other instruments, So those days I used to play the congas, and I said I will play it on the congas, and I want to do all that. So he said, चलो ठीक है, तुम म्यूजिक ही करना चाहते हो. And then I was getting into recordings and all that. This I'm talking about 86 or something, and I told him, I'm getting a lot of recording work also, so I want to get into there. So he said, okay, as long as you're doing music, it's good. But remember one thing, whatever you do, don't forget your roots. And whatever work you do, make sure somewhere, उन्होंने हिंदी में मुझे कहा कि मेरी झलक आनी चाहिए. And I've tried to stick to that since the time, let's say from 86 onwards. Even when I've worked on certain film songs, I have tried to bring in an element of my father, in the rhythms which I have done. And in my albums also, in my live playing also, I've always tried to keep his thing there. Because he was known for his lekari and those gaps that he would do. So I've tried to keep that always, So be honest to your work. And so he said, be honest to your work, don't forget your roots. And make sure somewhere my chhabi should be seen in your music. So that's the most important thing in my life, and I've been trying to follow that, and I will keep following that.
That is absolutely wonderful. I had a wonderful, wonderful time with you, Taufiq.
I'm happy I didn't bore you.
Not at all, not at all. Secondly, Ustad Allarakhaji also had been accompanying Pandit Ravi Shankar
Yes,
on
of course.
a lot of concerts
Yes,
in a lot of world tours. And Pandit Ravi Shankar ji is the reason why I am here sitting today.
Arey wah.
If not for him not propagating Indian classical music outside the world, we would not be doing this project, and it's all connected. So,
Correct, it is.
Thank you to everybody, and thank you for spending your time and efforts with us.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me on this show, and I hope whatever I have spoken has been useful to this show, and it'll come out in the best way possible.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.